Shalom everyone, and thank you for gathering today to remember on this, the memorial, the Zikaron of October the 7th. Of course, for many here in Israel, it is still October the 7th, even though we're a year on from last year. For many people, that date is still the date that they're living in because their lives have been irreparably touched by the events that took place. It was, after all, the biggest massacre of the Jews since the Holocaust. And it's a day which is fixed in time here in Israel. People speak of before October the 7th and after October the 7th. So your prayers for this particular day for the people of Israel are so appreciated.
Yeah, we're very grateful to all of you for your constant prayers, your constant love, your constant support. And we do want to say thank you here from Jerusalem on behalf of all of us here. On behalf of the whole nation, we thank you, people like you, that really carry this nation through the most terrible times. And we're so grateful that we have Christian Friends of Israel as a platform here in Israel that enables us to reach so many people all over this country. And since October the 7th, literally from October the 8th, we have not stopped working day and night, doing whatever we can to try and reach the people of Israel with a message of friendship, with a message of hope, with a message of love, also a message of shared grief and shared pain. We've had times of crying together with people. We've had times feeling angry together with people. We've had times questioning everything together with the people of Israel. That's the point. We've been their friends. We've been with them through the ups and downs, through the thick and thin. And without your prayers, I'm not sure how much we would have accomplished. So we do say a huge, huge thank you.
Yeah. We wanted to focus a little bit on some of the people because that's really why we're here. We're here for the people, first and foremost. We've been taking these opportunities to further develop friendships, old and new. And we've been so blessed to make many new friends as a team over the past year, and Galya and I will just introduce you to some of the figures that have entered our lives and people that you can please pray for because they're on different levels of their journey towards recovery, and we just want to be as much of a help to them in that process of healing as we can.
Yeah, and we thought by mentioning them by name that you would also relate to these people and continue to pray for them by name as we continue to spend time with them and support them in a myriad of ways. And one person we want to tell you about is actually a personal friend of mine named Natasha Cohen. Natasha is a survivor of the massacre that took place at Kibbutz Be'eri, which is where I think was over 100 residents of the kibbutz were massacred that day. Residents of that kibbutz remain hostages in Gaza as we speak.
About 12.
And Natasha and her husband miraculously, and I mean miraculously, survived the Hamas infiltration of their kibbutz on the 7th of October. Natasha's husband was face to face with Hamas terrorists, and we believe that God made their home invisible and spared their lives. And they themselves have an understanding that something else happened that day, that there were angels, something supernatural was present that spared their lives. But nevertheless, they lost many, many, many close friends. Natasha told us that through the month of September of this year, she's had to attend 22 burials at Kibbutz Be'eri because they were not able to bury the deceased at the kibbutz because it was essentially an army base for the longest time. Can you imagine that, having to attend 22 funerals in 1 month? That number increased to 23 after the discovery of the body of Carmel Gut in the tunnel in Rafah, one of the 6 executed by Hamas. Carmel was a close friend of Natasha's. So I would like you to please continue to pray for Natasha and for her whole family. Natasha is really a stalwart at the kibbutz. She does a lot to support the development and the regrowth of the kibbutz, and she's a friend to everybody. She's a support to everybody. and we try and visit her as often as we can. And
Galya, and is it also fair to say through Natasha we've been able to help quite a lot of other people in Berry?
Yeah,
she's
been an open door for CFI.
We've given food vouchers to some of the people who are the terror victims there. Some of them are too traumatised to ask for help. They don't know how to ask. They had everything. People in Berry, it was a wealthy kibbutz. They're not used to accepting handouts, so there's a lot of stigma attached to it. But she's helped us to find the ones who really need that bit of extra help, because the government isn't able to supply all of the needs.
Mm-hmm. And we also connected with an amazing lady from Kibbutz Berry called Adi. And Adi has a remarkable story. She hid for 7 hours in her safe room, and the terrorists entered her home and actually took her. She was held for 3 hours by 16 Hamas terrorists. And by a series of miracles, Adi survived that ordeal. And Adi is now very involved in supporting the residents of Be'eri who would like to return back to the kibbutz, but they cannot because their homes are completely destroyed, and it will take a very long time to rebuild. And so these families are now living on a kibbutz near Beersheba, and we've done a lot of work to support these families, haven't we?
Yes, we were able to give a donation of $30,000 towards new electrical equipment, large electronic appliances. This was a cooker, a washing machine, and a fridge freezer for 50 families. And 80 returned to, well, they haven't returned to Kibbutz Be'eri yet. They've gone to Kibbutz Hazrin, which is on the outskirts of Beersheba. And they've been housed there in their intermediate accommodations. So the actual accommodation is a bit like a prefab, very, very basic. That is supplied by the government, but nothing more. So they needed to start from scratch in terms of household belongings. So this start, and believe me, a fridge freezer is no luxury in the Middle East. It's really an essential. It will help them to become re-established, and they can take it with them when they finally get back to Be'eri once their new accommodations are built. And of course they can't do that until the educational facilities are also restored, because for the families with children, there's no schooling, there's no arrangements for childcare in Be'eri or anywhere nearby. So everything is tight. It's so good to see some of them being moved on now, and we know that you've been praying for them all through this journey.
Yeah, and please continue to pray for them. You know, a group from CFI went down to this kibbutz that Tristan's talking about, where the residents of Be'eri will live temporarily, and it is a barren landscape. And kibbutz Be'eri was paradise on earth, really. Green, full of flowers, plants, the most beautiful place you'll ever see before October 7th. And please God, it will be again in the future. But this place where they're living temporarily is very barren. And as meaningful as the white goods, the electrical appliances are, of course, they're essential for these people to live their lives. What was the most essential for them was actually the presence of these Christian friends. A whole group of Christians from a variety of countries. Why were they there? Why have you come? Why would you care so much to come to this barren kibbutz near Beersheba? And yeah, we can give all the practical supplies we like, but it's this physical presence that we're there. We're there to tell you that you are not alone, that we represent Christians from all over the world who are praying for you and who love you and who stand with you in solidarity, and their hearts are with you. They're crying with you, and they're believing with you that you will have a future and that you will have a hope. And they're donating funds so that we can buy these things to bless you and practically support you and equip you for the months and the years ahead. And this is the thing that penetrates right into their hearts and right into their souls and causes them to weep in our arms. This is what you are doing. We're one big team. We may be here, but we're one big team, and your prayers are like gold. So please continue to pray for us. Please continue to pray for all the members of all the kibbutzim and the moshavim that were so devastated on October 7th. And another kibbutz that we've been involved with is called Nachal Oz. Do you want to mention that?
Yes, we had an inroad there with primarily a Messianic family who lived down there. And you can see right into Gaza City from the edge of the kibbutz. It's right on the border. And a couple of families that we've been involved with, they were really, they had the terrorists in their homes. And again, we need longer to tell you the miracles that took place to keep these people alive. And they really had miracles. And of course, it's so difficult to even talk about it because other people say, why didn't they get a miracle? And the spiritual warfare is not so easy to understand, but there were miracles. And we recently helped this couple, Katya and Dima. We helped them to clean their house because there was blood, there was things in their house from the terrorists. But more recently, we've just given them a grant, 3 grants. One for a really good quality new retriever. We've given them 10,000 shekels towards refurbishment of their home because it was partially rocket damaged. And we've also given them another fund to refurbish their safe room where they were trapped for, I think it was it 17 hours?
It was a whole day.
Yeah, it was a huge amount of time they were trapped in there while they were waiting for the terrorists to leave. And they just need that space to be completely overhauled because it feels bad to them there now. So we're hoping to send a couple of people down to help them paint, wallpaper, whatever they want once they've bought what they need. So we love to do little projects like this with people with whom we build a rapport and a friendship. We've been visiting a young man called Oren, complete and utter hero. He's only, I would say, in his late 20s. He rescued approximately 250 individuals from the Nova Music Festival, and he led them out into the wilderness, away from there, into a place where they were safe. And he was going back and forth in his vehicle.
Oren comes from a moshav called Patish, and when he realized what was happening, he actually went to the site of the festival. He moved towards the site of danger and threat, with his sole intention was to help and to try and rescue anybody he could. And he found a whole, did he say there were sort of dozens and dozens of people from the festival trying to get away, but they didn't know where to go. They didn't know which direction was safe. And he was able to guide them on foot back to Patish, actually back to his home, where his wife took a lot of these people in and began to care for them. And then some of his friends from the Moshav, they took a vehicle and they made multiple trips back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They put as many people as they could possibly cram in a car, and they took them back to safety whilst being shot at by the terrorists.
We saw some of the footage.
Somebody
had taken a little video on their phone of it happening, and it was, so we can vouch that
it was harrowing to see. But around, between 200 and 300 people are alive today because of Oren and his friends. So please continue to pray for Oren and for his family. And we should also mention the displaced civilians. Since October 7th, wow, we're talking hundreds and thousands of people were displaced almost overnight. And CFI has been very active over the past year in ministering to these people, in providing practical needs, in doing all kinds of things. And I do want to make a little mention of the children. We've got to know people from kibbutzim and from moshavim, from towns that I hadn't even heard of before. But we've grown. We've become friends with these people. It's not that we visit them once and give them some supplies and we never see them again. That's not how it works at CFI. It's about building relationships, one person at a time, continuing that relationship on WhatsApp or with visits, remembering their birthdays. We met one lady who actually comes from the same town that one of our staff members comes from. And so we found out that it was her birthday. Her whole community was staying in a hotel. And so we went back to surprise her on her birthday. And our staff member baked a cake that is common to where they come from. And she was completely overwhelmed with emotion. And we spent a couple hours with her just eating cake together. And we took her flowers and gifts. And this is the heartbeat of CFI, is reaching people one person at a time, cultivating trust and building relationships. And we have got to know a lot of people from all over Israel. Some of them remain in hotels. Some of them have moved hotels so many times, I can't even remember. Some of them have gone back home. So it is a mixed bag, but we continue to travel from the north to the south, all over this country, wherever these people are and wherever they need us, we'll go. And I must tell you about one little girl called Amit. And we spent many, many hours traveling to hotels at the Dead Sea. We're very blessed at CFI to have staff members who are qualified to do ladies' nails and to give haircuts. And this is something that we would do, and just to help these people feel normal for 20 minutes. And the children would come running to get their nails painted. They loved it. But there was one little girl called Amit, because we went back to the same community many times, and she was a little bit suspicious at the beginning. She didn't know who we were. She was quite traumatized herself. She would look at us from a distance, didn't get too close. But with every visit, every time, the consistency, the friendship, the love, the smiles, it reached the point when we parked the car, Amit would come running across the car park and give us such big hugs, she would almost knock us to the ground. And that's really what we're about, isn't it? Really getting to people's hearts and getting through whatever walls they are. So thank you for your prayers. Thank you for praying for us, because without your prayers, I don't think much would be accomplished.
So we bless you. May the Lord endue you with power from on high and anoint your prayers and anoint your time. Thank you.